I, Raymond OMOLLO, do swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee on the matters under its consideration shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you. So thank you, Chair. I'll, as guided, I will give a brief on the humanitarian fund. But first of all, I want to take this opportunity to appreciate the committee. I know we should have appeared before you much earlier, but we were able to indulge, and you acceded to our request to appear before you today. So the National Humanitarian Fund was a fund that was created under Section 14 of the Prevention, Protection and Assistance to the Internally Displaced Persons and Affected Communities, Act number 56 of 2012. And pursuant to Section 12 of the Act, there is a committee referred to as the National Consultative Coordination Committee, which was set up on the 9th of December 2014. And it had a time period of 3 years to function from the date it was set up. Now, this National Consultative Coordination Committee had its composition with the chairperson being appointed by the President, then the PS says responsible for internal security, the one responsible for National Treasury, and the PS responsible for lands. In its membership, then there is also the provision for the Attorney General, the Director of Public Prosecution, the chairpersons of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, as well as the chairperson or commissioner of the National Lands Commission. And then an appointee of the CS responsible for Interior to represent the non-state actors, and 2 nominees to represent the IDPs. So those are 3 appointees or 3 appointments by the Cabinet Secretary. And this committee was to, among other things, address matters relating to IDPs, primarily as a result of the post-election violence that happened in 2007-2008. And it ensured that the IDPs were registered and also had the responsibility of overseeing the management of the humanitarian fund, whose main bank account then was held at the Central Bank of Kenya, and the funds were subsequently disbursed to a number of commercial banks, notably the National Bank of Kenya, the Kenya Commercial Bank, Cooperative Bank, and Equity Bank. And maybe just by way of emphasis, primarily why we are before this committee is on account of the activities of this National Consultative Committee with regards to addressing the challenge or the issues that were affecting the IDPs, primarily as a result of the 2007-2008 post-election violence. And we will be going into the details of the specific questions, but in a nutshell, or in a broader sense, the fund was set up to address a need that was urgent then. And if we remember well, there was a huge crisis as a result of the last election that led to a lot of displacements across the country. And the leadership then felt it was important to set up a fund to address those concerns and the gaps that existed. As we speak today, I want to believe that this fund and the committee actually did what was expected of them in terms of helping with the resettlement and compensation where it was necessary for the period that they were set up to be in office. I want to stop there, Chair, and back to you.
Any question, members? Yes, Vice.
Thank you, Dr. This fund was set up in December 2014, and it was just for 3 years. And apparently, you are still here in front of us in 2024. So if it was set up for 3 years, was an extension granted? And what was the initial fund? And definitely you were not the PS when it was set up. Could you probably tell us who was the PS Interior at that time and who has handled these funds from 2014 to date?
Bwana PS, I'll request you take 3 questions, then you answer. Honorable Kivasu.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, PS, for that brief. I'm just wondering, after this fund was set, was there some initial seed capital that the government pumped in? And if it was there, over the years, has it been pumping? And what is the allocation for the financial year 23-24? 2, yes, it was set for the protection and assistance of the IDPs. We also have evictees from forests. Do you take care of them at the same time? Thank you.
Eric?
Point of order, Chair. I think we are supposed to start with the auditor's report. We are bombarding the PS with questions, and we have not listened
out of order,
to...
Honorable Eric. We are trying to understand the fund.
I think, Chair, he was supposed to give a brief, then without questions.
No,
we listen
no,
to
no,
the auditor.
That is not the tradition, Honorable
Then,
Eric. You're out
the
of
auditor's
order. You're
comments
arguing it's
will...
out of order, sir. We are
I
trying
will
to
not
understand.
support you
We are
in
trying
women's
to
the
understand.
truth agenda.
I'll come with a flower. Honorable PS, we are doing this so that we understand what the fund does. So when we go to audit queries, when we asking questions, we are asking questions on a fund that we understand. Otherwise, if we don't understand the fund, then we might ask a question that is not related to the fund. Thank you, sir. Yes, Honorable Ivo Bara. Sorry. You say your hands are up. Sorry.
Thank you.
Christine Umbanka.
Yeah, mine is following Shemewa's question as to whether there was seed money. But mine is, how many IDPs did you have to enjoy the seed money? The second part is, was it for settling IDPs or with their children who are going to school? Were there many other things that the fund was supposed to address, more than just simply giving them food and shelter?
We'll take Honorable Dege's question as the last one. The next ones now we can ask after we've done audit queries because of time. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have an interest in this committee we are referring to. Was the committee of 2014 worked continuously to date, or there was a disruption in between? Because after getting the seed money, how was it being administered to date? Was it continuous? Was the committee continuous, or it was just a stopgap measure?
Thank you. You may ask, may answer.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, let me appreciate the questions, because I think the issue of IDPs is definitely something that has been an emotive issue over the years. And Chair, like you rightly pointed out, when this was set up, I was definitely not in office. But I want to believe that the PSs who were in office between between 2014 and 2017, that is the period up to when the committee's tenure was expected or was assumed to have ended. I am not sure who was the PS in 2014, but at least I know by the time we were getting to 2017, the PS was my predecessor, Engineer Kibicho. Yes, so I hope that helps to understand or appreciate. I want to, so Kibishu took from Monica Juma, so just so that we put things into perspective. Now, I can't be able to provide the original or the initial seed money. I just need to counter check because I don't want to make a mistake with the figures. But the understanding then was that this seed money, apart from the resettlement, there was the need to also rehabilitate because there were movement of people, but then there were also, these people also lost their livelihoods. So that was the whole essence. And in terms of its administration, it's just like I have described. Now, beyond the tenure of the committee, what then happened? Were there still allocations that were given? As far as this fund is concerned, this remained dormant after the committee's tenure came to an end. And it's actually the subject of the audit query, because then they're asking what is it that the money is doing in an account that is probably not even earning interest and all that. And the main reason why there was not, it wasn't possible to have anything happening was the lack of the existence of a committee, which again, it was very clear it was time bound. So that is what I would put it. Now, is there any allocation in the current financial year? And the answer is no. On the issue, I think I already responded to the issue of the IDPs, whether it was them and the families and all that. On the issue of forest evictions, I would not want to, because the committee or the fund was with regards to the 207-208. But we know that there have always been issues coming up, people being moved, people being relocated. But I don't think I have the competence to speak to the finer details of that as it is. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. This is the report of the Auditor General on National Humanitarian Fund for the financial year 2020-2021. The report was qualified on the basis of 1, unsupported payment to internally displaced persons. As disclosed under Note 4 to the financial statement, the statement of receipts and payment for the year ended 30th June 2021 reflects a total of Kenya shillings 116,998,198.01 in respect of other grants and transfers and payments stock expenses, out of which payment amounting to Kenya shillings 43,800,000 were made to various IDPs under the cash payment program through Equity Bank. However, the payments were not supported with verifiable accounting documents, including clearly authenticated schedules from the receiving bank and acknowledgement from the beneficiaries. Consequently, the validity and appropriate of the disbursement of Kenya shillings for 3,800,000 included in other grants and transfers and payment stock expenses could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Your response, Bonapies.
Thank you, Chair. Oh, it's true that the statement of receipts and payments for the year ended 30th June 2021 reflect a total of Kenya shillings 116,198,000 in respect of grants, transfers, and payments as disclosed in Note 4 of the NHF financial statements, out of which payments amounting to 43,800,000 were made to various IDPs under the cash payment program through Equity Bank. Chair, I would wish to state that in the financial year under review, the fund made disbursements to various IDPs under cash payment program amounting to 43,800,000 through Equity Bank. And the State Department secured verifiable and authenticated payment schedules from the bank, and they are available for audit verification to support the disbursement. So, Chair, just to re-emphasize that the statement by the Auditor General is true, as at the point when the audit was done, it wasn't possible to verify, but subsequently this was made available, and it's been captured in the annexures to our responses.
Thank you. Current status, Auditor.
Members, we have verified the total payment of 3,800,000 supported by the Equity Bank statement and the schedules that are there on. Thank you, Chair.
Is the matter addressed?
Chair, the matter has been addressed adequately.
Question?
Thank you very much. As much as the matter has been addressed, Chair, government is perpetual. And the officers sitting in this room with the PS are the same officers, I believe. Majority of them are the same officers who are working then. Government works in a very structured way. And I don't understand why they had to wait for this long before presenting the right documents, knowing clearly the timelines that are given by government. So please, PS, some of these people need to be reprimanded if they are still in the office with you. Thank you.
Chair.
Thank you very much. Maybe out of curiosity, what orchestrated the delays in releasing these documents to the auditor at the right time when he was doing the audit exercise?
And kindly introduce yourself, Honorable Member.
Sorry, Chair. Thank you. I've come late. My name is Charles Nkuna, Member of Parliament in Mwingi West, member of this committee.
Thank you. Honorable PS, you may answer.
So, thank you, Chair. I would not want to give excuses for those who are in office then, but just for the assurance of this committee, the team that is with me here were not in these specific offices they're holding today. But maybe just as a point of noting is that there is always the delay that comes with getting the bank statements, because then the bank statements needs to be certified. And as at the point when the audit was happening, there were no certified bank statements to be able to justify that. But then we were able to subsequently get this. And actually, if the auditor would confirm, is that this was made available in good time after the report had come out. Actually, the certified statements are March 2022.
I hope your questions are answered, honorable members. We go to the next matter.
The second issue is unsupported bank balances. As disclosed under Note 5 to the financial statement, the statement of assets and liabilities as of 30th June 2021 reflects a balance of Kenya shillings 272,622,222 in respect of cash and cash equivalent. However, the unpaid list of IDPs to support the amount of Kenya shillings 259,321 and Kenya shillings 99,760 held in National Bank of Kenya and Equity Bank respectively, all amounting to Kenya shillings 359,081 was not provided for audit verification. Further review of the fund's bank statement for the account maintained at Equity Bank for the year under review reflected the following unexplained transactions. RTGS State Department for Interior and Citizen Service of Kenya shillings 193,537,036 credited on 26th of February 2021 and debited off the same amount on 19th of March 2021. RTGS State Department for Interior and Citizen Service, Kenya shillings 3,012,737 credited on 28th of May 2021 and debited off the same amount on 25th of June 2021. In the circumstances, the validity and completeness of the cash and cash equivalent of Kenya shillings 272,622,222 as at 30th June 2021 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Your response?
I wish to state that the State Department requested the National Bank of Kenya to give an account of funds held in the NHF accounts of Kenya shillings 259,321, and the same is available for audit verification as captured as Annex 2. And then similarly, upon request by the State Department, Equity gave an account, statement and clarifications to support the balance of 99,760. This amount is deemed to be unclaimed amount for two IDPs, and the bank statement is available for audit verification. That has been captured as Annex 2. Chair, for the RTGS amount of 193,537,036 credited by Equity Bank on 26th of February 2021, and a debit of the same amount on the 19th of March 2021. The bank clarified that the amount was meant for payroll request for the ministry, which was done on the 2nd of February 2021, which was credited to the account erroneously, hence necessitating a reversal after the ministry clarified that the funds were meant to cover the payroll. For the RTGS of 3,012,737 credited on the 28th of May 2021 and a debit of the same amount on the 25th of June 2021. The bank clarified that the Central Bank of Kenya recalled the funds with sent in error reason, which necessitated the reversal. As a requirement, so this is in conclusion, Chair, as a requirement, I think let me stop there just to re-emphasize on those two amounts in question, the two RTGS transactions that were both debited and credited. Thank you.
Status, Auditor General.
The current status, Chair, is that the Annex 2, which was provided, has supported the amount of Kenya shillings 259,321 and certificate of bank balance attached. Annex 3 also did an analysis of the RTGS verified correct. So the matter is addressed, Chair.
Members? Yes.
Thank you, Chair. I want to understand this 193 and the 3 million. The total was 272 million. Was that money in the account of the humanitarian fund, NHF? Or if it was, then why wasn't it utilized up to 2021?
I ask my Accountant General to respond.
Thank you, Chair. The ministry operates various accounts at Equity Bank. So 193 was an error that they credited that account with salaries. So it was a mix-up on the bank and is clearly explained by the Annex 2. There's a document marked equity there. In paragraph 2 specifically, it mentions it's an error. And then the 3 million is also indicated in the Annex 3, paragraph 3. That was an error of the central bank itself. So these amounts were picked up in our statement. They appeared there, but they were not originating from the State Department. Thank you.
I don't know, Chair, because 193 and 3 million is 196 million. But the Auditor General is talking about 272 million. So, Chair, I don't know if it will be the Auditor General to answer us or it's the PS, because that's a big difference. 196 and 272 is about over 110 million shillings difference.
If I got the Vice Chair right, it would be a supplementary question to his question. This 193 million he asked, was it in the humanitarian account? And if it was, why was it not utilized? And the committee tenure ended in 2017, and that money is still in the account in 2021. Why was that money not utilized in 2021? Until 2021.
The 272,622,221 is the balances that were in the humanitarian fund account. The 193,040 were errors that were made at from various banks. That's the Central Bank and Equity. So that's the difference. These are actually two different figures. They are not the same.
Maybe, Chair, just to follow through, why was the 272 in the humanitarian fund not utilized. Now that the Auditor General has clarified on the difference between the two figures, allow me to invite the Accountant General to just speak to that.
Thank you, PS. Chair, I think that is a question which will appear in the subsequent year. So I think we address it.
Excuse me, sir. When you're asked a question, please don't refer us.
Okay.
It is the committee that asks you question, not you to ask us.
The committee was not available to authorize any usage, and at that moment the figure could not be utilized.
Chair, the Auditor General says the 272 million and the 193 are two separate items. I would want to ask the Auditor General, what is the total amount which is in the National Humanitarian Fund? Is it in excess of the 272 which you found together with the 193, or is it just the 272? Secondly, to the PS and his officers, if 272 million has been lying there, it's not been earning any interest or anything from 2017, and as a 2021, it's still lying there, and we, like I think Honorable Christine Ombaka has asked about the IDPs, if they're still there up to today and this money has been lying around, not being used, is it fair?
Honorable Chair.
Just 1 minute, one question, sir, from Honorable Odega, then answer to that.
I just wanted to add on what you said, because we are all from the constituencies. We are aware the IDPs, those who have not been paid to date, and the money is lying there. Why don't they clear with the IDPs? I have a number of IDPs in my constituency who are claiming money and nobody is responding to them.
I also want to top up on what Honorable Odega has said. Unless you sit there as the PS, and this word humanitarian maybe does not click in your mind. Because when I hear there is money just lying there, not being spent, the plight of the IDPs is an emergency. It's not something you sit there and just relax and think about it later and see what to do. It's something you come out of that comfort zone, reach there, be empathetic enough to see who was not reached on time and how you can reach them immediately. So seeing these just money lying there, and we have IDPs on the way to Kericho, most of the time when I go in the village, I see those shanty little tents, and that is insecurity. And being a woman, I wonder, how can anybody sleep until dawn in such shelters?
Thank you, Chair. Bwana PS, your accountant, the fund accountant, has said that the money could not be utilized because the committee was not in existence. So what is the way forward?
Last question, then you can answer.
Chair, I wanted to find out whether we had a full list of all the IDPs and whether there are any other IDPs who are waiting to be settled and the money is lying there. Do we have a list of IDPs that have not been settled?
Thank you, Chair. First is that it is indeed true that this money was lying in the commercial bank account, but then once we were unable to have this money utilized, we transferred the money back to the CBK account, awaiting either the reconstitution of the committee or further guidance, because from Treasury, any unutilized funds reverts back to the National Treasury, and then they make a determination based on circumstances. As to the existence of IDPs, Chair, with your indulgence, I will not be competently qualified to speak on the exact numbers of IDPs who are there today, who expect or who are supposed to be compensated. But maybe just to speak to the issue by Honorable Odege, it is true that over time when IDPs are compensated, either you'll find new IDPs coming up, either genuine or not genuine. And I think probably it's at the behest of other institutions to establish that. But I'm aware that there are also IDPs who have gone to court on various accounts. And either most of those processes are still active. And it becomes very difficult to speak to that conclusively. Thank you.
Auditor General, we have, kindly give us a list of all the confirmed IDPs, how many have been paid, and how many are still pending. About the court, don't mention because it's a process that is still on. We'll give you 7 days if that's appropriate with you.
Chair, that's okay.
Thank you.
That's in order.
Thank you, Chair. The amount that is in the bank, and actually which we have raised questions in subsequent year, is 272,622,221/80.80. 272 million.
Chair, he is saying, please mention which bank, because the PS has said it's in Central Bank and not KCB. Are you confirming it's in the Central Bank and it's not been touched? Or is it, which bank are you talking about?
At the point of audit, the money was in a commercial bank. But the money has been moved actually in the subsequent year in 2022.
Auditor, sorry, do you mean Kenya Commercial Bank? Because you're saying commercial bank. There are several commercial banks, including Gulf. Which one are you talking about?
At the point, I may not be having the exact commercial bank, but the accountant can be able to assist us where it was before it was moved Central Bank.
Accountant, are you able to answer in a hurry because it's about huge amount of money? Do we give you 7 days and give us a written submission on that? So if we have queries, then we will call you again to explain further so that we can move to the next matter. But treat it as serious because honorable members are agitated by that, knowing that almost in every constituency there was an IDP and my IDP was not paid. That's why you're seeing a lot of questions and heads not nodding to your direction. So kindly we give you 7 days written submission and then we'll question it further if we are not satisfied with the answer. We move to the next matter.
Process through the executive and again with the guidance of the chair, I can be able to provide that evidence. Yeah.
Can we get some clarity? We need some clarity, Madam Chair.
Yes, please.
Is the PS aware we still have IDPs who are not compensated? And if they were there and we are expecting the list, is he having plans to form a committee so that we dispense with all the IDPs?
PS?
Thank you, Chair. I have indicated, of course, the Honorable Odege, that I have initiated the process of engagement at the executive level on how to deal with the gap that is there. And I am able and willing to provide that correspondence for purposes of assuring the committee that something is being done. And whether to reconstitute or to wind up, then that becomes a communication that we'll be able to share with the committee.
Chair, given that the committee did not exist in 2020, 21, 22, 23, who authorized the transfer back of money from the commercial bank, whichever bank it was, back to Central Bank, given that the committee was not there?
Chair, my question is, if in your transaction with the state or the head of state allows you to utilize that money, will it be enough for the IDPs that never benefited? Because I believe that families have grown and now they're larger, you need more money. Are you going to face challenges in terms of the money that you returned being too little to address the needs of those who are surviving?
And the Honorable CNN?
PS, what time frame do you need actually to conclude this matter? Maybe we give you 1 month, 2 weeks, or what? When are you comfortable to come to a conclusion on this matter?
Honorable CNN, if you could be specific, do you mean to pay the IDPs or to constitute a committee?
To pay the IDPs and constitute the committee which is needed.
Can the PS answer?
So thank you, Chair. So on the issue of the committee, I have indicated we are already addressing that at the executive in terms of its reconstitution, because it is not in existence as we speak. Now, on the issue of the amount, whether what is left at the central bank would be adequate, I think if the decision is to proceed and compensate whoever it is that is considered an IDP, I think it comes back to the House, which you represent, because it's only Parliament that then allocates budget for whatever use. So I would not want to speak to that, because that is something that is within your control. Then lastly, on when we expect to conclude the matter, I think there is information that can be made available almost immediately, which we can do in a week's time, which is who are the beneficiaries, which we can table to this committee. In respect of concluding the whole space, I think the issue of IDPs is always a moving target, and I would not be in order to prescribe a specific timeline to do that.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you very much.
February 2024. If you open any page, just an example, Annex 1, the number 1 name, Deborah Akunga, and then if you go to the ref file, this person, there is Kericho, Kisii, Nyamira. How can one person come from 3 counties? Or how sure are you that truly Deborah was from Kisii or Kericho or Nyamira? And I'm surprised there's no Migori. Do you know we are the ones who are doing farming in Naivasha? So there are so many tribe of Luo who died. But I'm not seeing Migori, where I come from. And Homa Bay, where you come from.
Chair.
Chair, just so that I give you the assurance to the query in question, and I have committed to provide the entire list of all the beneficiaries that received compensation.
Okay, I think that would guide us more, because now every member now wants to smoke out
Chair.
the PS.
The plight of these people disturbs me as I sit here. So does it mean Deborah Akunga was thrown out of Kericho, then thrown out of Kisii as well, and finally found herself in Nyamira? Were you tracing this person? Or what does it mean to have a name, but the venues or the destination where they ended are 3?
Sorry, PS. I know you're my friend. But the same thing what the chair asked you, Kericho, Kisii, Nyamira. If you see the date on Annex 1, it's July the 1st, 2020. Whereas we have been told this committee ended its tenure in 2017 because there was no committee at all and it was non-existent. I don't even know how the Auditor General has gone through this and not flagged that out? How do you pay when there is a non-existent committee? It was not there at all. So is it ghosts who were being paid, or were they ghosts paying, or what was happening? I know you can't answer that, but please let us have a reply to that in writing, and even the Auditor General to tell us.
And that you were not there during all this sarakati you were asking about. But remember, in government, you inherit problems and good things. So you've inherited this, and we request that if you are going to find a way of getting these answers, we want them answers for the purpose of the committee. But we know this wasn't your work for the purpose of record, but you've inherited the job. Kindly get for us answers to these queries. Because these queries cannot be answered now, considering the Honorable PS was not in office, I request committee members that we move to the next matter.
Chair, point of order.
What is out of order?
We are not asking the PS as a person. We are asking the office.
So you should have waited I finish then. But I have to address the PS. So I'm requesting the PS to give us all these queries in writing. And then if we are not satisfied, again, we will call you to clarify. That would make us move to the next matter. Considering time, we have to finish by 2 o'clock. So I request that we go to the next matter. And we might finish with only this year. We will leave 2021, 2022. This one is finished. Then we can't go beyond this.
We cannot go further than now because we've got a sitting at 2:30 and we have to prepare. So I suggest, Chair, if we can call it a day, because we've given so much to the